Coming up on this episode of Free Lunch.
Okay, is that intentional? Like something bigger and then light? Is that like a combo thing?
Well, like I said, lobster every plate, regardless.
Oh, lobster every plate.
Lobster every plate, regardless.
We're playing 0 games with lobster.
No game.
But the hammocks are really nice. That's a fantastic touch.
No question. No question. We find people all over the grounds just, digesting and enjoying the after effects of the buffet.
So no, I mean, I kind of last year I still was trying to figure out what I'm going to stop.
You have to plan on coming here, okay? It's not one of these, I'm going to go to Nordic Lodge today. You got to plan on coming here. So you got to stop eating about 2 to 3 days in advance.
It's Free Lunch with a special thanks to our sponsors. Gun Safety 203, firearms training for youth, beginners, and advanced. Get trained the right way the first time. Visit gunsafety203.com. The Michael Stroud Team, real estate excellence. They get you what you want. Visit michaelstroudteam.com. Home Stretch Travels, providing reliable transportation for business, university rideshare, even your treasured pets. Day or night, work or play, when you need a driver, visit homestretchtravels.com. And don't forget our brand placement sponsors this season, Dobie and Rollins Orthodontics. Excellence, excitement, and empathy, helping you love your smile. Visit www.dr-orthodontics.com. And Daddy Butter, handmade, all natural hair and skincare made with love by dads. Visit daddybutter.com. Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Freestyle Gospel, aka The Real Frii, and this today is in fact a super special episode with a special guest. So you guys can see just past me, we're in the parking lot right now. You can see it's empty, like people are not even here yet. Of the Nordic seafood buffet and more like you have never experienced in your life. So we're gonna be shooting the podcast on location inside, getting a chance to talk with Lisa, one of the amazing owners who we met recently, talked a bit on the phone, some of the other family members, long-time workers and other employees, staff of the Nordic. They have an amazing origination story. They have an amazing story rooted deep in family, and we are going to catch all of that and some right here today at the Nordic. Just look, the scenery, can we see some of the scenery over here? You got the lake over there. We have, just on this side, I don't know if you can see over here, on the lawn, on the grounds, there's like these hammocks. We're going to see some of that, some more, but just make sure, stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. Peace. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Freestyle Gospel, aka The Real Frii, with another episode of Free Lunch. We actually got some really cool B-roll outside when we're pulled in and see the nice empty lot, because it's the only time you'll find this lot empty is before opening. But I have here one of the owners, Lisa. Thank you for having us, Lisa.
Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, it's an awesome morning. Besides, some of the clouds, but I'm grateful that it's not raining.
Me too.
Yes, it could be raining and could be a lot worse, but it's not raining. But it's still expecting to have a pretty full day today.
I believe we will. Yes, we sure should.
Absolutely. I know the rain didn't stop me the first time I came last year. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those things where I had heard about the Nordic so many years ago, enough times, because all of my friends or people who know that I like seafood at least, they were like, you should go to the Nordic. So as a kid, I heard about this place. This is like a legend in New England. So I finally made it for the first time last year, earlier in the season.
Yep.
And then I was able to make it back before the season closed twice in 1 year.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you for that.
It was amazing both times.
Awesome.
I will say, as a first timer, and tell me if you've heard this before. I imagine you must have heard this at least once, is anybody who goes to a buffet, they tell you have to go in there with a strategy.
Definitely.
I didn't have a strategy the first time.
Okay.
I just went for the biggest everything that I could find, and I didn't last long.
Understood.
It was like an hour left, and the rest of my party, I went with some old cop buddy friends of mine.
Yeah.
And everyone else was still eating, and I was out on the hammock.
And you're just done.
I was done.
Yeah.
But the hammocks are really nice. That's a
Oh,
fantastic touch.
No question. No question. We find people all over the grounds just, digesting and enjoying the after effects of the buffet.
Yes.
For
so,
sure.
So for how many years has the Nordic been in your family?
The original property that the Nordic sits on was purchased in 1963.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so this wasn't the first thing that was on this property?
No, when the property was initially bought, it was actually considered a summer camp. People would vacation
Wow.
here in small little cabins on the property.
A summer camp.
Yeah.
So how long was it a summer camp?
Before my parents bought it, I can't say, but we've had it served as a summer camp for us until 1980 or
Oh,
so.
wow.
Yeah, there were small little rental properties all over the property, all
So
over the grounds.
were you a participant in the summer camp? Like as a kid or a child?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yes. I worked as a chambermaid, if you will. My brother, my
Wow.
sister, and I worked as, keepers of the grounds, and I mean, for as far back as we can remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how was it like a summer camp that went away, or everything was kind of
Yeah.
activities on the campgrounds here?
People would come here and they would vacation here for a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever, in the summer. And there
Gotcha.
was sauna. We had the saunas going, and there people would swim and fish and boating, and we had bands here on the weekends.
Nice.
And the restaurant sort of was born out of that to
And
feed
you
the
guys-
people that stayed here.
And you guys still actually have some of the bands still come out?
We do still
the
have bands
property?
on the weekends. Yes.
Now,
Yep.
is that every weekend?
It's pretty much every Saturday and Sunday from mid-June or from June to September, but it is weather dependent because it's all outdoor.
Okay, nice. So tell me about that time coming into where your parents bought the property and it started to become the Nordic we know today. How old were you about that time?
Well,
Like, was
so
this?
the original restaurant was used to feed the people that stayed here on the weekends or stayed here during the summer.
Ah,
The
okay.
restaurant evolved over time into a restaurant that was open year-round, and it would serve the local community. It was in 1980 that another restaurant that offered the all-you-can-enjoy style of offering, unlimited lobster buffet, was a place. It was a restaurant by the name of Custy's in North Kingstown, Rhode Island. In 1980, they burned
Gotcha.
down,
Wow.
and that's when we adopted that style of offering.
Okay, but it wasn't the year round, or was it?
It's
in
no
the beginning.
Year-round. I honestly can't even answer that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think way back in the day, way back, it was still seasonal to some extent, but not as short a season as it is now.
So one of the things that we really love, I got a chance to speak with you a little bit before we came here today, is I love the part about the sort of the infancy or the birth of the Nordic. Even before it was known as the Nordic, though, now that you've gave me that added detail of the campgrounds, really just the property now. So just past the Nordic, but the property sounds like it's been rooted in family.
Oh, no question.
With it being a campground first, and then the food being provided to those who stayed around, and then it kind of evolves from that to the Nordic. Being in those younger years, being a child of your parents, was it a thing that your parents kind of always included the other children in, your family, to sort of help in some way?
Always. From as far back as I can remember, my brother, my sister, and I worked at the restaurant. I mean, we were working. It was basically child labor. Would be considered child labor nowadays. But yeah, we definitely we were washing dishes in the restaurant or doing whatever needed doing.
Wow.
Cleaning up the rooms in between guests, keeping the grounds clean, raking, planting grass, mowing grass, weed whacking,
Wow.
whatever needed doing.
How
around
many
here.
of you kids were?
There's just the three of us, my brother, my sister, and I.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That must have been a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. Our parents were very, very hardworking people.
Was it something that you found was sort of like an impediment in any way to that? People, a lot of times people say, children shouldn't work because it takes away from their ability to enjoy being a child, or those things like having fun with your friends and like that kind of a thing? Like, was that an impediment?
I
You think?
can't say that I never resented it when it was happening to me. I can remember many times that them saying we can't bring you here or there or whatever because we need you here. That kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I can't say I never resented it as a child, but when I look back on it now, I'm very grateful for the upbringing I got.
Yeah.
There was a hardworking, a very deep sense of responsibility to family. You did what you needed to do to get the job done, and I'm grateful for that today.
Yeah.
For sure.
Was now that you've been able to, because you're the original owners, your parents have passed,
Yes.
and so the remaining siblings, if you will, the three of you kids that were helping your parents out, how many of you all remain?
I'm the only one. I'm the only active owner. My sister retired 3 years ago, and my brother retired this past year.
Okay.
So I'm the baby of the family. So I'm the one left standing.
Oh, you're the younger sibling?
I am.
Okay.
Yes, I'm the baby.
Wow. Mm-hmm. But now, past just the siblings, you showed me a beautiful photo. Hopefully we can catch a clip of that, of the, I guess cousins?
Yes.
That other
Yes.
family who's now come kind of beneath your wings.
Absolutely.
And
So,
now like the next generation here.
yeah, between my brother, my sister, and I, we have 8 children.
Okay.
All of them have worked for this company at some points. But right now there are 5 actively employed here. The others have come and gone on to other things or
Yeah.
whatever. But there are 5 that are making this their life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. Now, is it the here today, we have how many of the family members?
5.
5 are here today. So we're going to try to get those on, to kind of speak with us about their experience. But before we let you go, tell me what has been probably the single most important benefit you felt that you've been able to sort of garner from being early on as a child yourself, rooted in, family, being able to work here, and then being able to now see your children, and then, there be cousins, involved. Like, what has been like the biggest takeaway you think for yourself or your family in being able to just kind of carry that on forward?
Oh, I mean, there's so many, but I would guess, I think the word devotion is coming up for me. We're devoted to the success of each other, and ultimately to the success of this business. Because
Yeah.
without personal success, there can be no professional success. Without professional success, I mean,
Wow.
they're so intertwined here.
Wow, I like
It's-
that.
but
Without
we're
personal
devoted.
success, there could be no business success.
Yeah, we are devoted to each other, and we all have a deep love for what we do here. This thing called the Nordic is it's kind of like a child. It's our baby,
Yeah.
and we all care deeply about it and its success.
Wow. I'm gonna have to chew on that one, guys. That was good. You can't have business success without personal success. And I think a lot of people try to kind of, we call that putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
And so I think keeping that, sort of individualistic portion of family, like the individual members that make up the family, making sure people who, pursue or think of business as a family, making sure each of you are taking care of your own personal business, the things that, when I hear you say that, I think of just personal development as a person, whether that's, discipline, self-discipline, right? I can't be an effective member of a bigger team or a professional thing if
Yes.
I haven't kind of worked on those personal things.
Yes.
So being able to come in at a young age and this be your first experience as a job, or it allows you to develop and sharpen some of those things. And then when you decide to, if you choose to leave the Nordic and go on to do great things and become a doctor or become, a baseball player or whatever it is, you sort of develop some really fundamental things right here
Yes.
on the grounds of the Nordic.
No question. We're so proud of our kids. And when I'm saying our kids, I'm not talking about our biological children. I'm talking about all the kids that we have working for us.
Yes.
That we get to help shape and mold the youth by giving them their very often, very often their first experience at any kind of a job. And it's just a wonderful opportunity to help shape these young people and to share, a deep love and mutual respect. Like, we respect our kids, and they are treated very, very well here. It's something we're very proud of. And we have kids that'll come back. Oh my goodness gracious, we have relationships with employees for decades.
Yeah.
They just come back. They can't wait to come and see us if they've moved away or they've gone on to college or whatever. It's just awesome.
So what is the longest, you mentioned the employees, what's the longest time an employee has been here that's not a family member, biologically?
That would be Michael. And actually my brother's wife also has the same amount of time in this company. My brother's wife came to work for us, and they ended up meeting and marrying, and she's been here 42 years, as has Michael, our floor
So you have
manager.
a staff member who's been here 42 years, and they are not biologically connected to the family.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yes. It's awesome. It's awesome. We have
That's
many
crazy.
triple decade. Triple decade.
Wow.
We have several that are over 30. We have a whole bunch more that are deep in their 20s.
And these are staff that are not biologically
Oh, yeah. No.
been here 30 plus years.
Oh, yeah. Many.
That's how you know the Nordic's doing something right here. You rarely find that in the marketplace with any business.
We are so blessed. We are
Yes.
so blessed.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for
Thank
chatting with
you.
us. We're going to try to get some other family members over here next.
Sounds great.
This is the goat right
Here
here.
for 50 years.
50 years.
Legend. Legacy. He knows every station.
And he's really
See that bear over there?
Yes.
I knew him when he was a cub.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right,
Carol,
so
Carol, Carol.
what's your name again?
Joe,
Joe. Frii. Nice to meet you, Joe.
nice to meet you.
So, Joe, what's the strategy for the first timers coming to the Nordic for lasting at the buffet, so that they don't in the first 10 minutes fill their bellies and they're like napping on the lawn?
This is not a place that you have to plan on coming here, okay? It's not one of these, I'm going to go to Nordic Lodge today. You got to plan on coming here. So you got to stop eating about 2 to 3 days in advance to get this here, all right? Stop eating, stop drinking, the whole routine, right? Just a little bit of water.
Fast for 2 days.
Yeah, a little bit of water. And then when you get here, everybody rushes into that room and goes, oh my God. And they think they're going to get all the cakes and the pies and everything else. Oh, for God's sakes, you can go into any grocery store and buy a cake and a pie. The heck with that. Go for the lobster. Go for the shrimp. Go for the crab. I do that first, then I go on to the fried food, then I go on to the meats.
Love
so after 50 years, we got
50
this down.
years.
50 years. Yep.
Yep.
Thank you so
You're
much.
very
Nailed it,
welcome.
Joe.
You're very welcome.
So we have here Jake. Jake is Lisa's son. All right.
Yes.
Now, how many children does Lisa have?
She has 2. Just me that works here. My brother does his own thing, but he actually lives right next door to the restaurant here.
Okay. Has your brother worked here at some point?
Yeah,
Younger,
he
or-
did. He did work here for probably 4 or 5 years. Then he went away to college and found
Yeah.
his own path. But
Spread his
yeah,
wings.
He's doing his thing. He's killing it. He's happy.
Yeah. So how long have you been working here at the Nordic?
In total, 15 years. I worked here for a few years, with being my first job. Then I went away to college for 4 years down in South Carolina. But like most people with family businesses, came back and got sucked right back in and haven't left since.
Now, how old were you when you first started or did any work here?
Legally, 14.
Right,
But,
legally.
I mean, when I was probably 7, I would be in the kitchen
Yeah.
shucking clams with mom and dad. And,
Yep.
You know,
So being 14 with the job like this, as busy as this place is, typically when you're like that young, your first job isn't someplace as busy and robust as this is. Like,
Right.
to a 14-year-old, this could be very intimidating
Oh,
or overwhelming.
absolutely.
What was that like for you in lieu of like your other peers, maybe friends who are the same age? Where like did they have responsibilities as much as yours were at that age? Like, were you like the only one with a real job, quote unquote?
Yeah, well, I was definitely one of the few of my friends that had real jobs that weren't just, mowing your neighbor's lawn or that
shoveling
sort of
snow
thing.
or.
Yeah, I was the only one getting a real paycheck out of my friend group at that time.
So what did that feel like? I mean, getting an actual paycheck at that young. I mean, did it seem someone could say it could seem surreal as a 14-year-old or that young, but then others, if you kind of like are rooted in your family, is that it could be kind of like just common practice to you. Were you able to, did it give you a sense of like wow, or kind of just like this is kind of normal?
Yeah, well, I went from my $5 a week allowance to getting paychecks of $200, and
Wow.
when you're that young,
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
have
yeah.
any expenses. Like you don't have bills to pay, so
Yes.
it's like you just felt like there was nothing better. You couldn't have more money.
Yes, $200 as a 14-year-old is. I don't know what were you spending your checks on at 14?
Honestly, probably the driving range, going golfing.
Yeah.
Going out to the movies, trying to chase girls. Who knows?
I remember when I had to be maybe 9 years old, 10 years old. Someone gave me a $10 bill one time. I forget like what family, maybe it was like an uncle or something. And I was so that young, so just irresponsible with money. I mean, like you're a kid, like you just all you want to do is get toys and candy or whatever. I took the whole $10 bill and brought $10 worth of Now-Laters, the entire thing. And I remember having like a brown paper bag, like all of them stuffed in a brown paper bag from the corner store. And all day long, I just went like up and down the street, the sidewalk, to all like my friends' houses. And you'd have thought the Now-Laters were like $1,000 band of money or something. Like I just was like the coolest kid. Everyone wanted to be my friend because everyone wanted some Now-Laters.
Yeah, of course.
Well, what are some of like the coolest objects, tangible things that you can remember buying as a like younger kid, getting your own money?
The first like big thing I actually saved for and was able to execute was getting a dirt bike. So that
Ooh.
was like, we used to live out in the woods, so it was nothing but trails and everything.
And you bought a
all
dirt bike with
around.
your own money.
Yeah, that wasn't nice. I'll guarantee you that, but it got me where I wanted to be, and that was out of the house and out into the woods.
Now, do you have any kids?
I do not yet. No.
Oh, okay. So you've been here now, well, collectively for 15 years.
Yeah.
Do you perceive it to be for another 15 years, or this to be kind of like where you'll kind of end off like your career or working career, to stay kind of in the family business?
I intend for this to be my life.
You're not doing any more exploring or anything?
No. I think that phase of my life is done. I found where I want to be, and that's here with my family, with all these great people that come in here, with people like you that come to visit us.
Yeah.
It's just such a unique place that it's not like working at a corner diner in your hometown or whatever. It's we're kind of like experiential dining. It's kind of how we like to describe it, because it's not just a meal. You could come spend the whole day here, and people refer to this as like the Disney World for foodies.
And you speak to like experiential dining. You shared a little bit before about just like the Christopher Wallace, so the Notorious B.I.G. like family, foundation, coming here every year. I think that speaks to just the experience that people are able to get when they come here.
Right.
That people, we met one of your guests outside who, they said they've been coming every year for 20 years. Like that's insane to me.
Right.
And I think kind of, what we got to just even experience a little while back before you guys opened up, I don't think many people know that you and all your staff actually sit down to a meal together.
Yeah.
And then, we find out there's staff who are not family members, who are not like blood related, who've been here for over 30 years.
Right.
And I think that's due to things like that. That, can seem like a small thing.
Right.
Right. But those small
us,
things have a major impact on like how people feel about where they work.
Right. Well, it's, particularly these days where so many restaurants are struggling, so many of all businesses are just struggling to staff it. I mean, restaurants are closed Monday to Wednesday because it's not because they don't have business, it's because they don't have staff. And, we are in a prime position staffing-wise and it all goes back to little things like that. It's not always about just the dollar amount
money
they
you
make per hour.
Yeah.
It's how they're treated, and
Yes.
we respect them. Every single one of them here, we treat them as such, and we do all those little things like making sure they're properly fed before we open, and
Wow.
we got a family day scheduled where we invite the whole staff to come and enjoy the grounds. We have a big barbecue and get the sauna running, and have all sorts of games, and volleyball and whatever else.
Now, what are some of the? I mean, other than this being a business that's been in your family, Is there any other reason why, like, you've decided this is going to be the industry or the business that you stay in, beside it being just a family business?
Yeah, well, going back to it's a special place. It's not whether I had family here or not, I wouldn't want to leave if I was treated the way I am.
Really?
It's,
so if this wasn't a family business, you think you'd still be here?
I think I would still be here, yeah.
Wow.
It's just that special place. I mean, there's not a lot of places that you would be willing to jump in a car and drive 8, 10,
Hours.
14
Yeah,
hours
yeah.
to go get dinner. You know what I mean? People come up here and they get rooms and stuff just to dine here. I mean,
yes.
not for nothing, there's not a whole lot else in this town.
It's not.
I mean, there's some beaches and stuff nearby, but that's not what our guests are here for.
Yeah, yeah.
They're here for this, and anything else they get while they're in the area is just a nice bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I expect there to be, again, unlike any other day, a big crowd here. We've already seen buses pulling up.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to get some of your guests who have traveled far, who have made this kind of like a yearly thing, just kind of get some of their stories to share with us. But thank you so much, Jake, for chit-chatting with us.
Yeah, man, my pleasure.
Best of luck with the rest of your career here, at the Nordic, and what's to come in the next 15 years.
Yeah, right.
Awesome.
What's your strategy for the buffet at the Nordic?
Okay, so I'm trying to start small first. So I'm going with the oysters, the lobsters, the things that kind of go down real easy. They won't take up too much space. Then I'm going for a lobster every plate, though. We do a lobster every plate. Crab legs.
Time out. What's on this plate right now, though? Besides the lobster, what do you got?
I just have oysters and butter.
Okay, is that intentional? Like something bigger and then light? Is that like a combo thing?
Well, like I said, lobster every plate, regardless.
Oh, lobster every plate.
Lobster every plate, regardless.
We're playing 0 games with lobster.
No games.
Is
That's
this-
what
so
we're
this
here
is
for.
plate
That's the
number
main
2?
event. This is plate number 1. We just got here.
Oh, you just got here.
Just got here.
So what do you foresee? How many plates you think you're going to get by with doing that strategy?
7, including dessert. But small plates.
7 and a dessert?
No. 6 and a dessert.
6 and a dessert.
7 is the
But
dessert.
even the dessert plate also gets a lobster with that plate? Because you said a lobster with every plate.
All right.
So
All right, 6 plates in a bowl. Because the ice cream goes in the bowl, so the lobster can't fit in a bowl. A lobster every plate, though, yeah.
And how many years you been coming doing this?
4.
4?
About 4
And
years.
and listen, not for nothing. We always think the best strategy comes from somebody like really, really huge or large, but little Brianna here has.
No, big Brianna, not the little one.
I'm saying because we talked to some OGs in the buffet game, and they're usually really large people, and we're amazed that you really think you're gonna get down 6 plates plus a dessert.
6 plates and a dessert.
And you've done this before.
Yeah.
You've done 6 plates before.
I think last time I did 4 or 5, but I think
4 or 5?
I think I can take my 6 or something. But I don't want to, I want to manage the expectations here.
Yes.
The plates have 3 items probably.
Can we follow you on the gram? Do you have an Instagram?
Yes, of
Could
course.
you give us your Instagram? We want to follow up with Brianna and see if she got 7 plates.
Listen, you can follow up with me, and I'm gonna be vlogging it the same way I did the first time. I want to eat real bad.
You can't have crazy fans like this coming to see you.
I
and you don't even know the
I
dress.
starved myself for this, so I'm not thinking
Much
straight.
for coming to chit chat with us. So how long have you been working here, Lorna?
So it is my 42nd season at the Nordic this year. So
42 years.
yeah,
Are you kidding me?
no. So the
How
story
is
is
it? Hold on, time out. No.
well.
Hey, you look like you're 42. This
well,
is really 42 years?
Nice. Yes. Yeah. I started my the year between high school and college, just a summer
Wow.
job. But that's how I met my husband, Stephen, who's one of the owners.
So is
I
he
met him.
here?
He's not here.
He's not
he
working.
actually retired.
Oh, so he retired and he left you.
He left me working.
He left you working.
He's got a lot of expensive habits.
Okay, so now, when you first came is between high school and college.
Yes.
And did you only come here because Steven was working here?
No, I didn't know him then. He hired me.
Okay, he hired you.
Hired me.
Okay,
yes.
so you were just looking for a job.
Looking for a summer job.
Okay.
Between I grew up in the area, but went to University of Rhode Island.
Okay.
I was looking for a summer job.
So you
I
figured,
found my
hey.
way down in the woods and So
you
Steven
definitely have to
hired me.
find your way because it's a very windy. It's not like along the side of a highway road. Yeah, you
Right.
got to know it's here. Okay.
And that was right. The buffet was still a new idea when I started.
Okay.
So,
All right. So you get here and Steven's doing your interview.
yeah. I guess I interviewed
think-
really well.
I guess you did. This is like really, really hilarious to me. So, I mean, how far past the interview or after you got the job did you and Steven become a thing?
Well, let's see. 83, we got married. 7 years later, we got married. After I finished college.
Okay. I mean, but before you got married, you obviously were dating. No?
Yeah, but I didn't really tell anybody.
Okay, well, I mean, you can't because Steven's your boss.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be
He was a bit older.
fraternizing with the other
The
staff.
elder bosses, yeah.
Okay, so now was it something that you envisioned being a long time thing when you first got here? Like,
No.
Like, what was your plan back then? Like, what was this is going to be the thing I do?
Oh, no. Do I really have to talk about that?
I mean,
Well, I have a
most of us
degree-
don't usually end up doing what we thought we were going to do.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
That's true. I tell people that, too.
Yeah.
No, I went to URI, majored and got a bachelor's of science.
Okay.
And then I was debating going to medical school,
Okay.
that kind of track, but kind of got waylaid by Steven.
That's the issue.
So I worked.
Steven is the issue
Yeah,
there.
he is the issue. And if only you could meet him.
Only you could be. Steven, you derailed her plans. Because he needed a replacement. He knew he was playing the long game.
He was playing the long
He's saying,
game.
I'm going to
He
make
knew what he was doing.
It's part of my exit strategy.
I was young.
I'm going to have Lorna come in. I'm going to make my exit strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what has been probably the single most, like, just greatest experience of you being kind of engrafted into this family environment? We got a chance to be part of the staff kind of mill before you guys open. That's amazing. But beyond that, but keeping it kind of like in the backdrop of our minds, though, what's been like kind of the greatest just thing you've experienced as being a not just a family member, but part of the staff, being part of the story of the Nordic? What's been like the greatest kind of takeaway for you?
Well, it's always friendship, but as a family business, you're always working together. It's like you all have skin in the game. Everybody's one person's
Yeah.
success is everybody's success, and you work hard together. Being in this business, you tend to spend a lot of time on your off time together because you're working all weekends. So
Absolutely.
the rest of the world, you miss all the things that the rest of the world does on the weekends.
Yes.
And so you tend to be around your staff and you make
Yeah.
friends in that sense. But
And you have children of your own?
so Steve and I have 3 kids.
They work here?
So all 3 work here.
Okay.
2 of them have chosen it as their kind of full-time careers.
Mm-hmm.
And my other daughter works here just on the weekends. She has a degree. She lives in Connecticut, so it's a little bit of a haul.
Okay.
Plus, all 3 of our children had babies this past year,
Oh,
so they're all
baby season.
baby season.
Yes.
Yeah, we're in the new marriage baby season with everybody.
Okay, so you have 3 kids. They're working here too. The ones that I've decided to kind of make it full time is it because they are like into, I don't know, like are they chefs or they're just into just hosting, being part of just the family business, like is
It's
it?
more with a family business, and that's kind of a beauty of a family
Yeah.
business too. Is you can bring your talent. Some, Corey has a college degree.
Yeah.
Jake has a business background.
Yeah.
Other than that, they learn a lot on the job, growing up
Yeah.
in it. And they've worked every position. All of our kids have worked, as we did when we were here,
You
have
gotta do
worked every
dishes.
single position.
That's right.
In the place, so and you work side by side with your staff.
Yes.
And I think that makes a big difference here in our family business. Is our staff has seen us do everything,
Yeah.
so it's kind of nice too.
What's some of the words of wisdom you give those new, like Lisa was telling us, a lot of the not family members per se, but just the local just teens or young people looking for a job in the area. They come here as like their first job many times. What's kind of like the words of wisdom you give those first timers when they first come into the door on like day one? Like what is that you pass down to them as like, hey,
Well,
you want to make it here? This is what you do.
Well, we expect hard work. We expect, their uniforms have to be what we say. it's kind of more of a loose culture in some of the things, and we're pretty strict with those things.
Everybody has to get one of these cool cardigans. Like,
No, I'm kind of.
oh, you're the only one that gets the cool cardigan.
Well, us girls, we have cool cardigans.
Those are so cool.
Maybe the boys someday will have
And
cardigans. I don't know.
show the camera your
Oh,
cool
my
like
lovely-
bracelet.
My lobster bling that I have.
That's totally unique to you, though.
Yeah, this is unique.
That's not
I
staff
found this in
issue.
the store. Yeah, that's not staff.
Yeah. Nice. So what? Yeah. So they're expected to have their uniform, work hard.
Work hard,
But
work together, camaraderie. Between us and our family members, everybody should succeed here, and we want them to succeed in whatever position. So a lot of times people move to different positions depending on what they're good at, and what they feel comfortable doing.
Well, thank you, Lorna.
You're very welcome.
I appreciate you spending time with us.
All right.
And we're gonna enjoy the rest of the time we have here at the Nordic. Maybe get something else to eat.
They're super.
Because Lisa just told us that it's full now.
Yeah.
Right. So you kind of get a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, once we're all, yeah.
Yeah. Once you're like all
Yeah.
full up. How many years have you been here?
43. This is my 43rd season.
43 years.
Started in 1980, cooking in the kitchen.
So how old were you in 1980?
I was 1980. I was 16, going on 17.
So was that your first job?
No.
No.
I had a paper route, dropping papers at the houses in the neighborhood when I was 14. But that was up in Providence. I grew up in Providence, Cranston.
Okay. So as
And
far
then I worked in a couple of little restaurants doing things up in the city there.
Yeah.
But then my parents moved down here in 1979, 1980 from Providence to South County just to get out of the city, take me out of the city, and then I saw the job in the paper, so I applied, and the rest is history.
So what? So to go from, 16 is pretty young. A lot of 16-year-olds they're not really sure what they want to do with their life.
Yeah, true.
I imagine the same was the case for you at 16. I don't think when you first got here, did you have in your mind, I was going to be here 40-something?
No, gosh,
okay.
no.
So for you, at what point did that click into your mind that I'm going to stay here?
Oh, gosh, I don't think it ever clicked.
So
no, I kind
of last year I still was trying to figure out what I'm going to do.
So maybe, maybe
like 5 years in.
No, I'd
10
say
years
about
in?
15 years in, they promoted me to like the manager of the floor, combination. I was still serving tables, but they made me the head server, I should say, the head server of the place. Kind of doing manager at that time. Bringing me into the family. I always felt like part of the family because Goody and Dick, who started it, when I started here, they always made me feel like it was my second family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I never thought that I wanted to leave, really, but I got real comfortable at probably about that 15-year mark.
Yeah.
Say, somewhere around there, saying, maybe this is where I'm going to be. Because I did go to URI, the university, and got a degree in psychology. Actually, when I was here, I got a degree thinking that I was going to go into psychology.
Wow.
But,
so you actually completed that, like when got the whole degree? And,
yeah.
And then you said, hey, you know what?
Yeah, I think I like this place. What made my father tick.
All of us would have known makes our father tick.
So that's why I got the degree.
Yeah.
And then it was from there. I just kind of just stayed and really just felt like home, and then just stayed with the family. Yeah, it was really good.
So, do you have any kids?
I do. I have 2 step kids, and I have one my own, one boy that's 12
any of them
years old.
Work here?
Nah, he's 12. He wants to, but he's too young. Coming soon.
All right, because it sounds like the starting age is 14 here. That's what I talked to Jake. I talked to Pelly.
He wants to. He wants to start. A couple of years.
Yeah.
I did have my stepson worked here for a little while.
Okay.
But now he's working at the Navy base in Newport. So.
Okay. So, Lisa's telling me, a lot of the local area kids, that are teenagers, they get their first start here. This is like their first job.
For sure.
Being, a senior member of the staff here, when you have those, bright-eyed, eager young kids coming here on their first day, what are some of the things that you kind of offer as that, like, words of wisdom to make it here at the Nordic for such young, kids?
Because it's tough,
Like,
right?
what are you
especially
giving
the
them?
kids today? I think learn to need to be more personal. They don't have like the thank yous and
I
the
see.
excuse
Okay.
me's. The things you kind of need inside when you're working. And the smile.
yeah.
I think the biggest thing is the smile,
Yeah.
right? I always say to them, if you smile, it makes so much easier on the people around you. The people coming in, the customers, you know what I mean? And they'll smile with you. Even if you make a mistake, I think if you smile.
So no frowning allowed.
Right.
All right.
And then just using all the courtesy you can, I think is the
Okay.
key. Hard working, of course, because in here it's very difficult. A lot of lifting of the plates and bus buckets and stuff. And you have to be kind of physically fit.
Does every young kid start off kind of doing the same type of job when they come in? Like you're on dishes or
Well,
you
yeah.
first
Now,
come in,
I mean,
it's-
well, with the kitchen with Pelly and Kyle, it is you start doing the dishes.
Okay.
But on the floor with me, you have to be a busser. So
Okay.
it's two different in a sense. And on bussing on the floor, we usually hire we like 16 to 17-year-olds.
Okay.
Kitchen does hire at 14, going into the dish room.
Okay.
But on the
Because
floor, you
from
need a little
14
more
to 16,
maturity.
we think you got your smile down packed by 16. Hopefully.
A little more maturity, I think you need to be on the floor because you're dealing with the customers.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need that. And in the kitchen, we kind of try to mold them from the dish room to be able to come onto the floor. So.
Yeah. And having so much years of experience and having all the different varied types of kids, because the way they make kids these days, they all got different personalities.
True.
Right?
True.
What's been your biggest, as in a management role, your strategy for being able to navigate so many personalities that are different? Like
What's my?
you have to have the biggest smile, number one.
Yeah,
probably.
just a lot of patience. I think a lot of patience, right? I do. I try to, make them
Emulate.
comfortable with my smile.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then try not to get too stressed with them, I think.
Because they probably got that from mom and dad themselves
They already
already.
have it at home. You know what I mean? A lot of them come in that way. So we just try to get them comfortable. I try to get them comfortable and know that we want them and we need them and we care about them.
Pelly told us that
know what I mean?
you've watched him literally grow up in this place.
I did.
How does that make you feel?
I did all the kids, actually.
Oh, exactly. You've been there
All those kids
42
you
years.
talked
These
to.
are all of my young Padawans.
Yes, all of them. All the ones you
I've
talked
taught
to.
them all how to smile.
They went through a lot of tough times. I mean, as we all do, right? When we're young, you know what I mean? But they grew up in the business and...
You're like Uncle Mike.
Yeah, I guess.
You can't leave.
I can't leave now.
Yeah, Pelly's got a 6-month-old coming up.
No, that's what I mean. So the next generation, their
coming up.
generation's growing into the...
You go from Uncle Mike to Grandpa Mike. How do you feel about that, Mike?
I am a grandfather already. Actually, I got my stepchildren have children.
Yeah.
So it's wild.
That's got to be a great feeling.
It is great.
I
It is
love
great.
it.
That's what I mean, and I just like being able to feel like a second home.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because you have your home,
Yeah.
but to be able to go to work
And still feel like you're at home.
You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
The confidence that it gives me to deal with a lot of the issues that I have to deal with.
Yes.
It
makes it easier.
Points. It is. It really is. And I met my wife here 20 years ago.
Lorna.
No.
Not Lorna.
No, not Lorna. No, my wife is Georgia. She's
Okay. Yeah, Lorna.
She was a customer. She came in to eat with her friends
Okay.
and just fell in love with her at that point. And,
How you fall in love with somebody coming here to eat? Like, you're not even the person responsible at the table, so how do you even get that close?
I had a server introduce us. I had one of my servers. There was just something. There was something about her.
So the server just was like,
And
knows
back
Mike
then-
is in the market. Hey, Mike, table number 3, Mike.
It was funny because it was a group of women, and I had my eyes on one. And
Was it the one that the server actually came back to you about, or?
Yeah, but they all came up to me saying, "Which one do you like?"
Take your pick. Take your pick, Mike.
And I did.
The pickings are
And I said,
vast.
"Well, I like you." You know what I mean? And it was tricky at that point. But back then we had computers that people would enter their information.
But there was no cell phone.
Right.
You didn't ask for her Instagram?
No, so I had to have a little peek over the shoulder into the computer to see where she was from and all that information. It's wild, but yeah, that was all good stuff.
Beautiful story.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much,
No,
Mike, for
pleasure, Frii.
for chatting
Pleasure.
with us, man. We're gonna let you get back to
Yeah,
being
no, for sure.
amazing.
No, pleasure.
I mean, we listening to all the stories, man, and actually being able to engage with your customers.
Yeah.
You have customers who've been coming here for 20 years.
Oh, long time.
15 years,
You'll
every
see 30. You'll see 40 years
it's
coming in.
it's literally
and now the next generation. You know what I mean? Of their
Yeah,
children.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah. The
mean?
children
Like,
are coming.
you'll see.
We're listening to people's strategies for
Oh, God,
conquering the
it is
buffet.
something. Oh,
I mean, you got a guy that he fasts for 2 days before he comes. That's part of his strategy, Mike. That's amazing.
It is amazing.
I don't know.
It is amazing.
But that's dedication.
It is amazing.
That is dedication.
It is. That's the uniqueness, though.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's the food, the service,
Yes.
right? And then also the grounds, right? It's those three elements that create.
Listen, my
You know
first
what I
time
mean?
coming last year,
Yeah.
I love that you guys had the hammocks out.
Yeah.
Because
Look at this one.
I sorely needed
one's
it.
on the ground,
I
though.
sorely needed
Yeah.
it to let the
to
food
unwind.
digest.
Yeah.
And then you guys have servers come out and
Yeah.
with drinks
Yeah, cocktails.
while you take your order. I mean,
Yeah, it's
an
great.
amazing place.
Great.
My only regret is that it's an hour and a half from me. But I
Where
mean,
you live?
in Connecticut.
Oh, can I? Oh, really? What part?
Yeah, New Haven.
Oh, come on. So that's where my wife was from.
Really?
Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah,
See?
she came down
Amazing.
from New Haven. Yeah.
But I mean, even an hour and a half is nothing compared to you got people here coming 8 hours away.
Oh yeah, more than
Like
that.
making a
They
vacation.
come from California,
Yeah.
Hawaii, Texas. Coming in weekly on the weekends. You know, flying in from Texas or California
Literally
just
insane.
to eat, stay, and then go back home. We've had people drive up from down south, eat, and then drive back
And then
home.
get back in the
Then
car.
Back in the car. It's amazing.
So for somebody
Amazing.
who feels at home at work,
Yes.
where do someone like you even go when you want a vacation? Because for you, work is not really work. It's like home away from home. So where do you vacation?
My wife is Jamaican, so we go to Jamaica. We also go to the Bahamas. We really like the Bahamas because she's got family in the Bahamas. So there's
Jamaica,
family in the
Bahamas.
Bahamas. I try to go
That's
there a
nice.
little bit. You know what I mean? She has a house in Jamaica, so we do
Okay.
try to get there in the Bahamas. I love it. Yeah.
Awesome,
Yeah, for
awesome.
sure.
Thanks again, Mike. Yeah, I'm gonna be the whole ride home. I'm gonna be talking about that turkey. Insane. Paley, thank you for chopping it up with us.
Good,
So
good.
Paley, how long have you been here?
I've been here really since birth. I mean, it's a family business, so I was raised in this building.
So
I-
how are you connected to Lisa?
So that's my aunt.
Okay, so Lisa's your aunt. So then Jake is
He's my cousin.
your cousin.
Yep. yep.
Okay.
So my father, one of the owners of the Nordic, is Lisa's brother.
Older brother.
Yep, older brother.
Gotcha. So how young were you when you actually started legitimately working here, getting an actual check?
So it was probably about 14. Yep,
14.
I started in the back working with my grandmother and, a former kitchen manager.
Yeah.
Back then, we used to make deviled eggs and plate up desserts and stuff like that.
So you don't have deviled eggs anymore?
Not anymore.
Really?
It kind of phased itself out. There's a
Yeah.
few trends that come in and out, and that used to be
Okay.
one of them.
I love deviled eggs still. I don't know. I'm a deviled egg. Do you still enjoy deviled egg?
Oh yeah, no, I do.
Deviled eggs are amazing. Totally amazing. But let's talk about that turkey. What's this? Is there a secret recipe from the turkey? Do you guys outsource that, or do you make it here?
We outsource it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I also heard that the salmon that we had today, it was smoked. You guys have that done somewhere. Somebody locally smokes the salmon.
Yeah, exactly.
Insane.
So that comes from a company right down the road, and they source their salmon from places like Iceland and Norway, and then they smoke it locally.
Yeah.
And we get it straight from them. Yeah,
Amazing.
It's incredible.
What would you say being here? How many years total now have you actually been working? So since 14. So what do you?
Yeah,
been here
like 9, 10.
10 years. So what would you say is the best food item for you personally? What would you say if you had to delete everything off the Nordic menu except one thing, what would that one thing be for you?
Oh, that's a tough one. I would have to go with either the lobster or crab. Yeah, probably lobster. That's what we're known for.
I'm team crab legs. I love.
And a lot of people are.
Crab legs, man. We had a poll actually, I think it was a couple weeks ago when we, after we had talked to Lisa, we knew we were going to be coming. So we went on our page and we did a poll, who, of what the audience likes more, crab legs or lobster. It was pretty split, which I expected. But yeah, I think when you come here and you're trying to develop a strategy for getting down the most food, the biggest bang for your buck here at the buffet, I think crab legs is the way to go.
Yeah. A lot of people see a lot of value in the crab
You
legs.
get full too quick off the lobster tail.
That's true.
Besides that, being able to be here in the do you have any kids of your own?
I do. I have one.
You have one.
Yep.
How old?
He's 6 months.
Okay.
He's new.
So
he
he's not
he
working
doesn't
in
work
the kitchen
here
yet.
No, not yet.
But is that? Do you intend to kind of carry that sort of on with your family as you build and grow your family?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, is that something that you also, for you personally, are you kind of still exploring? What is it that you think you're going to do with, the rest of your career, in the workforce, or like right here is where you plan to stay? Like, this is it for you?
No, this is it for me. I did do a little bit of exploring when I was young. Our parents kind of
encouraged that?
They encouraged us to do that. So I worked at other restaurants, even in different segments of business. But eventually, when I was ready to kind of settle down and make this my future, I came back. And
so what do you actually physically do here? Like
so I'm a kitchen manager. So I do a lot of the ordering, seafood buying, prepping, managing of the back of house.
Yeah.
So anything to do with food, I'm kind of hands-on.
I love it. I love it. I want to know, when it comes to, you guys being so young, like everyone who I've talked to so far has started at, either 14 or, or even younger. Being that young and having other family members, maybe like, having a cousin who's, probably around the same age as you when you guys started working together. What do you, would you say when you reflect on that time, I think Jake told us that was like an option for him. He wasn't like forced as a kid to like work here, right? Was that the same for you? In your case, like you had a choice whether you worked here, as your first job or?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So making that choice, and as you reflect back on that choice and the time that maybe you've spent as a kid, as a child here, do you regret any, amount of that time? Like, do you feel like you missed out on things as a kid that your other friends at school were doing, or?
I don't. No, I don't. Our family is so tight, and we've grown up together. We've worked together. As a family as a whole, we've went through some challenges in business when we first started, and really, as a family, extended family, that just makes you stronger. And it was pretty cut and dry what I wanted to do. And we get along so well that it just made that decision even easier.
Wow.
We work really well together. We're cousins, but we're immediate family.
Yeah. Nah, I love it. And I think again, I'll bring it up before, me and Eddie were talking about, being able to sit down with you guys at, the staff meal. I love the way that, that's not something you guys could have easily made that only a family thing. You could have all agreed that, we all meet up at Lisa's house, in the morning before we come and open up the building and we have a meal as a family, right? But the fact that you guys have decided to bring that here to the Nordic and include all of the other staff in that time together, I think speaks to why, again, you have staff who are not family but have been here over 30 years. That's like insane. What do you, other than something, what people could say is a small thing like that, having a meal together, what is something you think could be attributed to the longevity, or how, why people decide to stay here so long? What do you think causes that?
Well, I think exactly like how you kind of just mentioned it. We strive, to bring the staff into our family. We try to create this business as one big whole family, and
one big family business.
We do, and it works really well. That's why we have the sit-down meals. That's why we do things with the staff outside of work. We have, you heard of the Family Fun Day, so we invite the whole staff down on a non-open day, and it benefits us, it benefits them, and it's a better work environment. You're not here 9 to 5 just trying to bust out hours. You're
stressed out, tense.
Yeah, you're here, you're helping each other out.
People not speaking to each other.
Yeah, everybody's your brother and your sister, it's nice, and it's a pleasurable work environment.
Yeah.
When you're able to do that, and create that sort of atmosphere, and that also gets depicted to our customers. Our customers notice that, and they enjoy that too, because a lot of businesses say they're family run and family owned, but this is truly family run and family owned.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, it like I said, it's super great.
And I think when you hear like family run and family owned, it's like you expect that the owners maybe like a husband and wife own the business, and that's why they call it family owned. But every single other person has nothing to do with the family or is not. I mean, but here, literally, so many family members are here. Whether it's like Lisa or it's like one of the cousins or the children, and I think that is what makes you guys so set apart from every other business that claims to be a family business.
Exactly.
And then to your point, and then extending past just your family, biologically, and grafting your staff into it to like make you even a larger family business.
Yeah, and
That's crazy.
And that's how we're able to put on such a good show for our clientele.
And it's like if you've been somewhere as an employee for more than 30 years, you're actually family at that point. Like,
oh, absolutely.
There's no question about it. I promise you, I'm not working anywhere for 30 years if I don't see those people as my family. I don't care how sweet the gig is.
Exactly.
That's a lot. That's a lifetime.
Yeah. Well, I think our managers, our combined years of service through our managers is like over 150 or something.
Yeah, ran into, is it Michael?
Yeah, Michael. So
he's 42 years.
Yep, just him alone.
By himself.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He started when he was like 16 or 18.
42 years.
Yeah.
Man.
And I work, side by side with our kitchen manager, David Dolly, and he's got right up there, 30
So Mike
something.
was here when you first came in, at 14 years old, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
well,
what,
he watched me grow up.
Exactly.
He watched me as like a 2-year-old, rollerblading around buffet and stuff like that.
so what's that? So I imagine like you kind of like you look to Mike like an uncle.
Oh yeah.
Like that's Big Mike.
Yep.
That's like.
Oh, he's family, man. He's
That's
family.
crazy.
He's not biological, but he's family.
That's family.
Yeah.
42 years, man.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, and you said your kid is 6 months?
6 months.
6 months. And what's their name?
Arlo.
Well, Arlo has some time, but hopefully Arlo will be able to kind of like grow up and still be able to experience the same environment and have the same story that so many of you have been able to share with us today, man. Experience, man.
He will.
Nah, it's gonna be awesome. Thank you so much, man, for talking to us.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate you coming down. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Yes, absolutely.
The word devotion is coming up for me. We're devoted to the success of each other, and ultimately to the success of this business. Because without personal success, there can be no professional success.